Aryna Sabalenka hits hard. She starts fast in Saudi Arabia. Can she win it all? As always, this coverage is brought to you via the Doctrine of Fair Use, the Fair Dealing, and the Digital Millennium Act. But first, ladies and gentlemen, let's head to India. That's right, guys, where Kimberly Burrell visibly upset after dropping the first set. Now, she was broken early. She would break back. And this image here is right after she got broken again. And Jen, ladies and gentlemen, she captures the title, over 70 wins on the year. She'd win over 75% of Kimberly Burrell's second serves. And look, that's a Jordan fist pump. She wins. I want to take a look at the double scene in Saudi Arabia where it looks like Shnaider and Mirra Andreeva are not on the same page. Listen, this is my fair criticism from what I observed. It seems like there's leadership issues on this team. We know Diana's the older player, but Mirra has, she's got more titles on tour. However, Mirra is just more accomplished. She's come through on the bigger stage. She's got the bigger title. She's the bigger name. But it seems like there's leadership issues. It seemed like Mirra was trying to motivate Diana and pump her up, and she just wasn't having it. I don't know, guys. Maybe I'm over analyzing, but this is a match here against Rutliff and Dabrowski. They've never lost to him. But yeah, that would happen today. And congratulations for Rutliff, Dabrowski, the reigning and defending champions. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, I love Jill Krabis. I just love her tennis personality. Now, she wasn't the best player. She had a ton of losing seasons, but she actually competed against Gabriella and Dabrowski and, of course, the Williams sisters, Magda Linette. So just looking at some of her older matches, I love her personality. We agree on a lot of the same things. And just because you weren't, she did have a main tour title, but just because you weren't a great, I think she might have even won, I think she won a Czech title as well. But listen, guys, just because you weren't the best player, the Michael Jordan of the scene, the Serena Williams of the league, doesn't mean you don't have a great IQ. In fact, you know, some of the best coaches or analysts weren't the best players, and some never even played. Look at Richard Williams. He never played tennis, probably one of the best coaches of all time. So I love Jill Krabis. I just think her personality is amazing. I agree with a lot of her perspective. But again, I'm concerned with Diana and Mirra. They're not on the same page. They look sad. And I imagine if I were Mirra, knowing she should be in the singles and doubles draw, it's gotta hurt. Visa issues? Oh my goodness. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, Ciao Bella, aka Little Italy, Jasmine Paolini taking on Aryna Sabalenka hits hard. We knew this would be a tough match coming into this for Jasmine. The power of Aryna Sabalenka. How do you overcome it? Just being just undersized, I mean, if you will, but her explosiveness, her athletic ability, she's going to have to find a way to use that to her advantage in this tournament, because right now, ladies and gentlemen, down big, Sabalenka would win the first three service games in a matter of 12 minutes. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. She jumped out, dominating the first set. And the reality here is I saw Jasmine kind of make some in-match adjustments. She started to try to keep the ball in the center of the court, which is a great strategy for the taller players like Rybakina, Aryna Sabalenka. Keep the ball in the center of the court. You literally, you kind of make them thread the needle, right? You take away most of the court. You take away their angles, and for the taller players, it really kind of puts them in a defensive perspective. Whereas, I mean, depending on the strategy, I think you do have to mix in center balls with a lot of deep angled shots. But the reality here is, for the most part, when Sabalenka has 80-90% of the court to work with, she can stretch the court, she can use her power, she can keep her opponent on the back foot. But keeping the ball in the center of the court against Sabalenka, it's a great strategy because, again, you make her force those decisions where, look, she has to either hit an aggressive winner or she has to just return defensively, and that's how she's going to make mistakes. However, ladies and gentlemen, Sabalenka dominating early, and look, I don't see any way Jasmine is just, it's going to be tough for her to come through this draw. The first matchup in the finals is possibly the most important because you either start off 1-0 or 0-1, and we all know 2 wins. Look, you're headed to the semifinal. However, ladies and gentlemen, Aryna Sabalenka, who's going to stop her? She looks good in red. Her game looks good. Yeah, she's going to be tough to beat. Tennis in a minute. We'll be back. Other news, Victoria Mboko captures the title against Christina Buxa. We knew that. And Anna Blinkova. Look, she's champion again. Tennis in a minute. Coco Gauff. Big game Jesse P. Coming up next.